Based on what our root cause analysis reveals to us, then we can start defining a solution, or in the HPT language, what we call an intervention. And I'm going to just spend a little bit of time on that with you here to show you one example of an intervention. Well, the value I bring to my clients is the energy and synergy of bringing two really strong content areas together in one package. So I bring my education and training expertise to bear with my quality and process improvement expertise. And those two things aren't usually combined by anyone else I know. And so I offer a new perspective for my clients on how to really improve and strengthen their employee development programs as well as their process improvement programs. And so what they come away with after speaking with me is new insight on how to generate new levels of productivity within their company.
Rick was a great fit for our members because they're looking for actionable items.
Presentation, I thought, was very well communicated to the attendees.
He's able to show both businesses how to become much more productive and implement strategies to streamline their processes.
And if you don't feel anybody is exemplary in your organization, you can pick a fictitious exemplar. You have the option to set the bar where you want. If you want everybody, if there's no one in your company that you think is performing as well as you'd like them to, then you can set a fictitious exemplar. And my approach is to say, if you work with the employees that you have in the processes you currently have in place, are you getting the most out of both of those? And so we can analyze their processes and the performance of their employees, use these quality analytical tools, and raise the level of performance of their employees to achieve new levels of productivity without necessarily having to install new processes or add new employees to the company. This is a typical proficiency curve for a new hired employee. When I work with clients, I work with them to try to bring that time to proficiency down.
I had an idea, but then to see the numbers and see it quantified like that, really being able to say, wow, what he can do for a company.
Now in my little example, my scenario with Liz, I said her counterparts are cranking out 30 items in a workday, and Liz can do 5 or 6 or whatever I said. So just a simple version of the PIP ratio would be the exemplar performance of 30 divided by Liz's performance of 5. That gives us a ratio of 6. Now if there's another employee who's cranking out 25 items in a day compared to the exemplar, that ratio gets closer and closer to 1. Yeah, typically the feedback I'll get from clients that I work with is that they gained insights that they didn't have before into their own processes and what real value those processes could bring. Typically they'll take an approach of, well, it must be broken, so we throw it away and build something new. And what they find when they work with me is we always try to leverage existing assets that are in the company now and improve them and make them more valuable than they are at the beginning.
He's a great speaker. You can tell he's been a professor before. He really engages the audience.
When we have presenters come in, they want things that they can apply to their situation right away. And Rick broke down his presentation in terms of a model.
Well, I really learned a lot about employee productivity, in a way that you can really work to increase that. New things that I had never heard about before, so it was very, very informative for me.
So reducing time to proficiency is an aspect of my consulting where I spend a lot of time and find a lot of value for clients, because oftentimes training programs for new hires are front-loaded, they last a week or two, and then you just put them out there and hope that they really learn the job over time. I would rather structure that learning more carefully and drive that employee to a level of proficiency sooner so that they are providing value back to the organization as quickly as possible. Well, it's interesting, the diversity of clients I've had and I've worked with, and you might be surprised at sort of the variation of field or industry where I've found success. From purchasing to finance to customer service to manufacturing, I found success in all of these areas with my consulting.
He started off with an example, which is great because it gets people thinking about their own workplace. And so that theme of Liz carried through the entire presentation, and then I generated a lot of conversation, which we don't always have. So I think that speaks to Rick's ability to both facilitate the conversation and teach. And maybe that's why it was so effective. He's clearly a natural teacher, and yet he's teaching some challenging content. And so clearly it was a topic that resonated with people, and I think it challenged their thinking. It was definitely one of our better presentations. We're glad to have him.
I thank you for the opportunity to present to you all today. Thanks very much. I hope that I have found something of value for you to take back to your organizations or for someone you know. You know, we've talked about 3 potential tactics for dealing with an underperforming employee. Each has their merits, each has a cost, each has a benefit, but and the HPT model has something to say about how you make that decision.